So I thought I'd put you guys onto this. Death Stranding is getting like a full movie, like a full big movie. Uh, I didn't think it would. I didn't think it would because I know that there's a number of people who liked it, but like once you see the memes and everything, and I've listened to people who have played it that didn't like it, and I was like, man, how are they going to make this a movie that's like worth watching, right? Because it's got that whole thing about there's like this Japanese thing of stuff being weird for weird's sake. Like you're not really supposed to explain it because this is the one with like the psychic babies and shit, and most of the game is like moving shit around, right? But they're gonna make a movie, uh, but it's gonna be by that A24, which I keep making videos about these guys. They're making huge moves. I remember back when A24 was just a whole thing about like, hey, we're going to make a shitty horror movie and we're going to put it out. It's going to be under A24. Like, what up? And then some of them started to be good. And then some of them started to be fucking great. And then they started just getting well-known actors and doing all these moves. Like, the fact that they say that it's with this A24 company, it's like, it can't not be good. They're going to be given a crazy budget for this, and they'll probably get fucking Norman Reedus for the fucking movie. He is an actor, for Christ's sakes. You know what I'm saying? It's not just a voice actor, and he didn't just do this game because whatever. So, one of the other things is, and I know this is the AI thing, but this is accurate. This is actually accurate. So it's saying the pig in A Quiet Place Day 1, that's who's going to be at the helm, the director. The guy who did Pig and A Quiet Place Day 1. Now, look, I fucking hated the Quiet Place movies. Thought they were silly. Thought they were drawn out and shitty. But people liked them. People liked them. I don't know why. They came out in an era where they were trying to put more people that were like deaf and blind and whatever in movies, and they were trying to write movies around it. And this is one of those movies that came out of that era where they were just spinning ideas, and a lot of them failed. A lot of them were just pieces of shit movies, but you know, it's one of those creature movies that everyone kind of glommed onto. I just wasn't a fan. I saw the first one and the stakes weren't that high, and then dude, the second one was like, bro, like get these kids a fucking leash or something, dude. Again, wasn't that good. And then this day one took it back to the complete beginning. And in my opinion, it is the best one, but I still didn't like it. Now you're probably asking yourself, why would you watch all of these films? Well, it's because it's kind of what I do. I'll give anything a watch, whether I like it personally or whether I think people like it. Is a really weird thing, right? Because if I say I don't like something that I thought it was shitty, that is not me saying that people won't like it. I think the general populace, if you see horror movies as a like, hey, let's watch a horror movie, haha. Like if you are like that, you'll love it. It's very basic. It's got very basic writing. It sticks to like the common tropes. It nails everything it needs to nail. But for me personally, gotta be honest, I fucking hated the first one. And like honestly, some of it had to do with the fact that like they just like kill the kid and it's like whatever. I don't know. There was just no stakes. there was no stakes in the movie that were high enough where I ever felt like invested. And I get it. Some of you guys have a soft spot for kids, but like I understand it's a movie, and I understand very well that I'm watching a movie. And I was trying to think of a movie that actually put me in it, you know, like really like damn. But I can't think of one off the top of my head. But I didn't like A Quiet Place. Pig, haven't seen it. I don't know whether this director is going to be like great for the role. He's definitely not Hideo Kojima, right? Hideo Kojima will not be as involved in this movie as people have previously said. So if you see something online that says he's going to be super involved, he is not. He is going to be less involved than you would like. He's going to be so less involved that you will question whether it is even his project anymore, because the people stepping forward are people like this. Now, I am not going to make any rash quotes here, but kind of rocky on that. Let's see this other stuff that he's actually done. We do not need all this extra shit in there, brother. Let's look at all of the movies he's done, and let's judge the body of work as it should be judged. Now, having said this, what we're looking at, if it's that imaginary friend, it was take it or leave it. It was good if you were like a dad that had a daughter. It was a great movie. I do not have a daughter, therefore I did not. It's got Ryan Reynolds and shit, but like, you know, is what it is. This is the one that he did with Nicolas Cage. I have not seen that yet. That's on my list. And a lot of these others are just like, you know, huggy, nighty, feel good bullshit. I'm going to be honest. This guy's not really tested and true. But again, let me throw this out there. A24 is known for hiring people who will work for a certain amount of money. That certain amount of money, probably not that high. This guy is just happy to be attached to the film. I will say, though, with Hideo Kojima not being in it, like fully, like he was with the games, I think that guy has a very good idea of what audiences want. And, you know, even though I didn't quite get into the game, I thought it was a little weird. I have that problem with some Japanese stuff. I have problems with like loose ends and not really tying up things or making things make sense. But I think he has a really good understanding of audiences, and he made a game that people publicly meme as being a walking simulator, a bestseller. So I think if you can sell ice to Eskimos, you know, you kind of understand the audience and where they're at and how they feel and what feelings you can exploit in them and how to move things along. And I mean, he doesn't miss, right? So, but you know, just like we've seen with any of these remakes, though, put on your tinfoil hat and pray, because that doesn't mean it's good. Just because he will be attached to it in namesake, and just because A24 is knocking it out of the fucking park, and just because this guy's on a big role now, directing, a lot of things can go wrong. Like, I don't know. Say that they don't get Norman Reedus. Say that they don't get him, because I don't know what story they're going to tell. I don't know if it's going to be a 1-for-1 of the actual thing, because they haven't announced anything. I don't know if it's going to be like a straight up 1-for-1, like this is going to be this, flat out or not. So it could tell it from a prequel's perspective. It could tell us from it could start the movie at the end of the game for all we fucking know. But it says it's an adaptation, right? But a lot of companies have played really fast and loose with that. I don't think I need to remind anyone, but there was a Dragon Ball Z movie that didn't go over too well. There was that fucking Death Note thing that was like watching cock and ball torture for like an hour. Like I felt like rude things were done in my soul. And we have this process of Americanizing stuff when it comes over here, right? There's a movie called Old Boy that's fucking brilliant. But then they decided, you know what we should do? I know what we should do. We should remake Old Boy, but for an American audience. And I said, great. I love that movie. Yeah, what does that look like? Looks like shit. They got fucking Josh Brolin. And listen, I respect him. I think he's a good actor. And I think most of the roles he's in, I fucking love the guy. I really do. But he sucked giant horse cock in that movie. And what we have to keep in perspective here is that this movie could get accidentally Americanized. If it's accidentally Americanized and it's accidentally taken away from the vision, and because he is not directing it and he's going to have minimal involvement because he's sick or something. I don't know what the real reason is. There's official reasons. Let's see if they actually say how his illness affected Death Stranding 2. Why his collaboration? Yeah. Okay. He's got some illness. Anyway, he's not going to be super duper involved. But release in 2027, I mean, they better get on the fucking ball now, putting this shit together then. Either way, we can hope a lot. And that does, I think that the market as a whole, as much as people know me, and know that I do a lot of doom saying on this channel, and a lot of, just a lot of butt fucking stuff, a lot of butt fuckery. A bunch of people know that I have very strong opinions about certain things. I am hopeful for this movie, but it does not mean just because the name is there, the money is there, the director's there, this, that, and the other. If everything were to line up, I would still be hesitant. There's something about taking something that is so good and forcing it into a movie. And I mean, I guess it's an advantage, right? Because a lot of these Japanese games lately are like movies. And I'm a frequent watcher of Chinese movies, even though they're not very popular in America. And I really do not make that many videos about them because they're just a guilty pleasure. I'm not gonna force people to watch anything on this channel that I know is just not, it's just not for you guys, right? But I will say this. Chinese movies are lit. Absolutely based. Japanese movies and Korean movies, Korean horror has really been based for years. It is some of the best horror movies ever made, and no one can convince me otherwise. There is just certain places in the world where good movies get made. If you want a really good mobster movie, go to London, go to the UK, go to those guys. There's just something in the water in certain areas where you get really good films. But with Japan, it's kind of a melding. They take influences very easily from other countries. They take influences in and they make it their own, and they make it very, like, it's like over there, even though because I don't know the culture, right? I don't live there. But it is almost like they have a certain amount of freedom. That when you're a guy who just makes comic books, you have a freedom to create something very weird, and it will get picked up, and it will go mainstream, and it will get put out there, even though it's not, it should have never been, right? One of these things that I was watching, this Uzumaki thing that Adult Swim did. There's also a movie. There's also a live action adaptation of it a while ago. I watched that too. And I will say this, they have a certain level of freedom to create over there that we don't have in the US. So when I see something like this, and I see it's Japanese going to American, I think, okay, they have this kind of open, fluid way of doing stuff over there that doesn't have limits, okay? When you look at stuff like Parasite, when you look at stuff like, even if we just talk about the greater Asia area where we talk about Train to Busan, right? Korean horror. That whole area is given some liberties with its creativity. It's not directly said, oh, you're too weird. We can't have that. Oh, but what would the people think? We'll have to put this one in the box. It's like, oh, we can't publish that. It's got dudes kissing. We're kind of like the old uncle of publishing where we go, oh, I don't know about this. There's a scene where there's a guy and he has a gun and that might upset people. I don't think that they have that apparatus or they think about it in the same way over there, because they can have something like, my uncle is my fucking daughter and I have to, he's transforming into a werewolf, so I gotta go get a blade from a magical troll, and I gotta transform it back into my uncle, because if I don't, he'll be stuck like that forever. Then I'll have to raise my baby uncle as my little daughter, and then and I have magical powers. Wow, I thought I was just a regular kid. And then they go to like a different realm. They go like, oh, now we're in a fairy realm, like, and then you could make that. And it will be commercially successful. And people will not get in your way about it or want to change it. They're like, no, keep everything exactly as is. We're going to make your vision, and it's going to be good, and it's going to go everywhere. And they're allowed to do that. I think we would not have anime the way we do today if they didn't have all of that fucking freedom. But now, everything I've just described to you, take all that and put it in a fucking box. That's America. And America's going to take all of this creativity and it's going to shove it into a greedy, little greasy box. Okay? Are they going to make this here actually fit into that American scope? Or are they going to let it be what it is with the money that it deserves to be made with? And, it's A24, though. I don't know how much money that they're going to spend making this, because these guys have a thing about spending money. Now, they've been much looser lately because, honestly, A24 has been knocking it out of the fucking park repeatedly. Whatever system they have over there, it kind of feels like someone's just like, who wants to make a movie? And they just raise their hand. And they're like, okay, you, what's your name? Okay, does 10 million sound fine? Okay, go make that movie. And then the movie makes like a billion fucking dollars. And they get a huge cut. They're doing great. They're doing fantastic. I still would urge caution in thinking automatically with everything that you see here lining up so pretty and perfect. You know, the Hideo Kojima thing not being as involved already is an issue, but say everything did line up, like I said, I would still be worried. Either way, look, if you sat to the end of this, let's be fucking honest, YouTube is going to keep showing you my videos. Hit the subscribe button. Just do it. Watch me more. Get to know me. I'm a pretty cool guy. Tell me movies to watch. Maybe I'll do some reviews on them. Who the fuck knows? But like, honestly, I answer every single comment. Every single one. I always answer them within an hour or a day. So, if you like the video, go down there, subscribe, leave a comment. I'll see you in the next one.